So now we learn something new, radio buttons in Swing. Okay, it's not simply radio buttons, they are J radio buttons. J radio buttons in Swing. Okay, so I'll have a new program. J radio demo. Okay, I'll go to the design panel. I'll just make this bigger. Okay, so now I do have a frame where I can now have my radio button. You do have things over here called JRadioButton. Okay, before that, see, you have something called JPasswordField. Just put an absolute layout. JPasswordField. It's similar to your text field. Okay, for the passwords, you can be using this. It's very interesting. The methods and all are the same as a text field. Okay, the only difference is, I'll just save it. I'll run. Okay, whatever you type, you'll be seeing it like this. So that is a JPassword field, similar to a text field. All properties, methods are same as text field. In the properties, you have echo car. If you remember in AWT, we were setting echo car, set echo car, and then we gave it in single quotes, whichever field we wanted here. By default, you do have a component called JPasswordField. I'll just run this. Okay, now whatever, okay, that is not enabled. I didn't save my program. Now I saved my program. Okay, so whatever you type, it would come in star. You can set whichever special character you want for your echo car. Okay, echo car, and then run it. Okay, so I'll delete this off. So that was your J password field. Then you have J checkbox. You know what is a J checkbox? You can simply tick it off, just like you work in AWT. Now we'll go for J radio button, which is a bit different. Okay, so I'll have a few radio buttons. Let's say J radio button. I'll just have a few. I'll have one more. Okay, I'll just give values for this. So what do we give value? Text. Okay, yes. Okay, and I'll rename this radio button yes. Okay, so that is yes. This will be no. This will be no. And then I'll rename this radio button no. So if that is yes and this is no, let's say I'll give one more value. Yes, no, maybe. Maybe. And the variable name, I'll give it as radio button maybe. RDMY. Okay, so that's it. I've got 3 radio buttons. Okay, now as you all know, radio buttons, they do have a property. You will be able to click only any one among these. Okay, so let's run our program. I'll save my program. I'll run my program. Look here. I should be able to click only any one. Okay, but look here, I'm having a problem. It works like a checkbox. Checkbox, as you know, you can click all 3 together. But radio button, you should be clicking only any one of these. That you have to set it in your form. By default, you will be able to click all the radio buttons. So what you have to do is, I'll exit this off. Okay, come back here. Select all your radio buttons. Right click it. And then make it into a button group. Make it into a button group. Okay, now I've made a button group. I've made a button group in which yes, no, and maybe are members. So let's see what's happening now. Okay, look here. Now it is working fine. You will be able to click only any one. So whenever you create radio buttons in Swing, creating them will not do. You should be putting them in together in a group. Then only that correct functionality of a radio button will come. Okay. So now that is how you set the functionality. So you even need to get the values of this, like, is yes selected or no selected or maybe selected. For the time being, what we'll do is I'll just put a text over here. So in your login forms, and not like, imagine you have a registration form, gender you can put like this, or any kind of options you can put like this, and then that particular field you will want to go into your DB. So so what I'm planning to do is I'm planning to get yes over here in the text field, or no over here, or maybe over here. We'll even do one thing. Let's make it work on an action listener. So I'll even have a button, not a radio button. I'll have a J button. What do we give the name? Let's say click here. Okay, so let's save my program. Okay, so this is what I want. If I click no and I click here, no should be displayed over here. So that is what I have in mind. So let's write the code for that. Very simple. Go into action listener. Okay, your action listener has come up. And then write the code over here. Okay. So very simple if loop. If now radio buttons, they do have a method called, just a minute, let me remember the names of my radio buttons. RBY, RBN, RDMY, and even my text button. Okay, I'll just give a name. TXT radio, TXT RD. Okay, so let's remember all those names. I'll come back to my source. Okay. Now, if RBY dot is selected, okay, I'll do something. If RBN is selected, I'll do something else. Very simple. Okay, RBY, RBN, RB, maybe. Okay, let's say, okay, I'll even do one thing. I'll assign it to a string value. So I'll just even give you a string selected value. Okay, so I'll give, if RBY is selected, SCL is equal to yes. Okay, else it will be no, else it will be maybe. That's it. No, and then here maybe. So what is the error I get over here? Okay, make it final. What is RB my MY? RB control. Okay.
RBMY.
Error over there. RBMY.
RBMY dot is
RBMY.
Semicolon.
I missed a semicolon somewhere. Where?
Oh.
Okay, this is RDMY. Control C, RDMY. How come that alone came RD? Okay, now it looks good. Very simple. Now I do even have a text. What was my text name? Text TXTRD, right? Control C. I'll give a text RD dot set. Text is my selected. Okay, T is capital. Okay. They're telling to initialize it as null. I'll just give a null field away. Okay. Okay, looks good. I'll run my program. Okay, no, maybe. Yes. Okay. Now it looks good. Now this particular value, you can put it in your DB. Like, if you're planning a table design, very simple, insert into values. Instead of your usual things, SID, SNAME and all, you can give this particular selected value. Or you can even give a J option pane, J option pane dot show mess. Okay, it's best that you wait for some time to get your methods, otherwise you will go wrong in the casing. Okay, I can give null the selected value, end it up with a semicolon. Okay, so that particular value which I've selected, it will come in my J option pane. Okay, no, or let's say maybe, or let's say yes. Okay, this is how you can work on radio buttons. Together with that, we can even learn some more thing, like, imagine instead of a ordinary J option pane, look here, you call this an, okay, this is empty because I didn't select anything, so FEL is null. Now this is an ordinary option pane. This is a message dialog. Okay, now we'll just see a few variants of that option pane. Option pane dot show, okay, as I told you, just wait for some time, show confirm dialog. Okay, so I'll just give null FEL no, this is a message dialog. Okay, now this is a confirm dialog. Hope you are able to see the difference between a message dialog and a confirm dialog. Confirm dialog will have three options: yes, no, cancel. Okay, while a message dialog will just have okay. I'll do it once again. This is what you call a message dialog. It's just a message with an OK button. And then a confirm dialog will be with three options. You even have a very important thing called J option pane. I'll do one thing. I'll just comment these so that things are easier. Okay. Now, J option pane, there is even a very important thing like show input. Yeah. Show input dialog. Okay, you can give a string over here, like let's say enter a value. Okay, now let's see what happens. Okay, this is what you call an input dialog. I can enter a value over here, let's say hello. Okay, you need to get that value, right? Input a value means you need to store that value. Very simple. If you're planning to have it as a text, give a string text is equal to enter a string value, or the reverse. If you're planning to have an int, given an int value, take it as an int. I'll even do one more thing. I'll just save my program. I'll go back to my design. I'll have one more text over here to take in that value, to show that value, to display that value. Okay, so kindly remember, my first text is for my options, and the second text, it is to get that input value. Okay, so I'll just rename this text input value, text input value IV, text IV. Okay, remember that name. Go back to your source. Okay, you've got the value in test. Now, very simple. Text input value is equal to, sorry, dot set text dot set text. Then put in your test over there. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I got a no over here. I input a value, let's say Anne. Now what I'm planning to do is when I click that OK, the name should come over here. Perfect, it came. So this is how you get values from your runtime. Runtime value, I mean not runtime, from your option pane. From your option pane. Okay. Okay, we'll see something called spinner. Now I'll show you how a spinner works. Okay, see, you will be able to change, like, for example, number of kids a person have, or number of anything, number of conferences attended or whatever. You can go on and give numbers over here. Now look here, you have a property over here called model, model. This is where you set the minimum and the maximum value. I can set a minimum value 0. Okay, and I can even set a maximum value, let's say, see, this is an example of a spinner. You have, say, 4 spinners over here, isn't it? Like, I give a maximum value of 10 with a step size of, let's say, 2, with a step size of 2. Okay, 2. See, it doesn't go 1, 2, 3, 4. When I go down, earlier if you had noticed, it goes -1. Now it won't go because I've set the minimum as 0. It will go on up till 10. That's it. More than 10 it won't go. So this is how you can set a spinner. Okay, the getting the properties are the same, dot set, dot get value, and all that. All properties are the same. So this is how you set a spinner. You can even, like, set date, and then run it. Okay, and then here you can do your date changing and all that.